The DoD Office of Inspector General, or DoD OIG, is an independent and objective office that provides oversight of the DoD. Our mission is to detect and deter fraud, waste, and abuse in DoD programs and operations, promote the economy, efficiency, and effectiveness of the DoD, and help ensure ethical conduct throughout the department. These are challenging responsibilities given the size and scope of the DoD. All of us play a crucial role in exposing violations of law, wasteful spending, mismanagement, or other criminal or administrative misconduct within the DoD. The value of information that assists the DoD OIG in eliminating fraud, waste, or abuse cannot be overstated, which is why whistleblowers continue to make significant contributions to DoD OIG investigations and convictions involving procurement and healthcare fraud, cybercrimes, computer network intrusions, and other elements of wrongdoing that have an adverse impact on the DoD. The DoD OIG is responsible for ensuring that covered DoD personnel know their rights and protections from reprisal for making lawful protected disclosures, and that credible allegations are evaluated and investigated.
So, what is a whistleblower? Generally, a whistleblower is someone who makes a lawful, good faith report of wrongdoing to an authorized recipient. All reports must be lawful, which means a person making a report may not disclose classified, sensitive, or controlled unclassified information to someone not authorized to receive it. Disclosures of wrongdoing can include violations of law, rule, or regulation, fraud, waste, and abuse, mismanagement, serious security incidents, or other criminal or administrative misconduct. Authorized recipients may include an inspector general, a member of Congress, a supervisor in an employee's direct chain of command, a court or grand jury, a court-martial proceeding, the Office of Special Counsel, and any person or organization designated by law to receive such communications. An important role within whistleblower protections is the DoD OIG Whistleblower Protection Coordinator, or WPC. The WPC is responsible for educating DoD members on statutes related to whistleblower rights and protections, prohibitions against reprisal for disclosing wrongdoing, how to report allegations of wrongdoing within the DoD, how to report allegations of reprisal, and the general timelines for reprisal cases and the availability of alternative resolution mechanisms. As an executive branch employee, you have an obligation to report wrongdoing and a right to be protected from reprisal when making lawful disclosures to authorized recipients. Executive Order 12674 provides the basic obligations of public service and principles of ethical conduct. It's the blueprint of what's expected of federal employees and includes a mandate to disclose fraud, waste, abuse, and corruption to the appropriate authorities. For example, if you are a military service member and you allege gender discrimination and toxic leadership against your commander, to the Equal Opportunity Office, you may be afforded whistleblower protections.
In 1989, Congress passed the Whistleblower Protection Act, which gives federal employees specific rights and protections if they blow the whistle on wrongdoing in the federal government. The Act guards against agency authorities taking or threatening to take retaliatory personnel actions against either an employee or applicant because a lawful disclosure of allegations of wrongdoing was made to an authorized recipient. The Whistleblower Enhancement Act of 2012 strengthens these protections by adding numerous provisions. For example, it requires federal agency heads to advise employees on how to make a lawful disclosure of classified information pertaining to national defense or foreign affairs, and it makes clear that agency non-disclosure policies, forms, or agreements cannot waive an employee's right to communicate disclosures of wrongdoing to Congress or an Inspector General. The Intelligence Community Whistleblower Protection Act of 1998 provides a process for intelligence community employees, including contractor employees, to report matters of urgent concern to the Intelligence Committees of Congress. Understanding there's no one-size-fits-all solution, there are whistleblower protections and a presidential policy directive addressing specific sectors of the Department of Defense. These include protections for military service members under Title 10, United States Code, Section 1034, prohibits restricting a member of the armed forces from making lawful communications to a member of Congress or an Inspector General. It also prohibits reprisal against a member of the armed forces for making or preparing to make a protected communication, or even being perceived of doing so. Under Title 5, Section 2302, protections are afforded to members of the competitive service, career appointees in the senior executive service, and certain positions in the accepted service. It prohibits taking or threatening to take a personnel action against these employees for disclosing information that evidences wrongdoing or for participating in a protected activity, such as an appeal or grievance. Protections are also afforded to non-appropriated fund instrumentalities employees, or NAFI, under Title 10, Section 1587. This prohibits taking, threatening to take, or approving a personnel action against a NAFI employee who lawfully discloses violations of law, rule, or regulation, or other wrongdoing to an authorized recipient. Under Title 10, Section 2409, protections are afforded to employees of a contractor, subcontractor, grantee or subgrantee, or personal services contractor. An employee may not be discharged, demoted, or otherwise discriminated against as a reprisal for disclosing information the employee reasonably believes evidences a violation of law, rule, or regulation related to department contract, including the competition for or negotiation of a contract, or grant, gross mismanagement, abuses of authority relating to a DoD contract or grant, or a gross waste of department funds to an authorized recipient. Presidential Policy Directive 19, protecting whistleblowers with access to classified information, prohibits reprisal against employees serving in the intelligence community and those employees eligible for access to classified information when lawfully reporting fraud, waste, and abuse and other wrongdoing to authorized recipients. It also provides employees the right to request an external review of Intelligence Agency IG or DoD OIG determinations on their whistleblower reprisal allegations reviewed or investigated under PPD 19. The decision to grant the external review is at the sole discretion of the intelligence community IG and is based on facts and circumstances of the case.
The responsibility of enforcing these laws in the Presidential Policy Directive is the job of a DoD OIG component and 2 federal agencies who investigate both the substance of the whistleblower complaint and allegations of whistleblower reprisal. The DoD OIG Administrative Investigations, or AI, helps ensure ethical conduct throughout the DoD by conducting investigations and overseeing DoD component investigations of allegations of misconduct by senior DoD officials, whistleblower reprisals, and service member restriction from communication with an IG or member of Congress. AI also manages the DoD hotline and the Contractor Disclosure Program, provides education and training on whistleblower protections through its Whistleblower Protection Coordinator, and facilitates voluntary resolution of whistleblower reprisal allegations through its Alternative Dispute Resolution Program. As noted, the DoD hotline provides a confidential, reliable way for anyone to report violations of law, rule, or regulation, fraud, waste, and abuse, mismanagement, trafficking in persons, serious security incidents, or other criminal or administrative misconduct that involves DoD members and operations. AI's Whistleblower Reprisal Investigations Directorate, or WRI, investigates allegations of whistleblower reprisal and restriction made by military service members, and allegations of reprisals made by DoD civilians, and employees of DoD contractors, subcontractors, grantees, subgrantees, and personal services contractors. WRI also conducts the oversight reviews of whistleblower military reprisal and restriction investigations performed by military service and defense agency inspectors general. Apart from its standard investigative processes, WRI offers Alternative Dispute Resolution, or ADR. This is an informal, voluntary process in which parties may reach a resolution by using mediation or facilitated settlement negotiations prior to or during what may otherwise be a lengthy investigative process. ADR is generally quicker than an investigation or lawsuit. Parties control and customize the resolution of the complaint instead of relying on a third-party decision-maker, potentially leading to improved working relationships. The U.S. Office of Special Counsel, or OSC, is an independent federal investigative and prosecutorial agency. It safeguards the hiring and promoting of federal employees based on their ability to perform a job. This is done by protecting federal employees and applicants from prohibited personnel practices, especially reprisal for whistleblowing. Similar to the ADR program within WRI, OSC offers their own voluntary alternative dispute resolution process to avoid lengthy investigations when circumstances allow. For inquiries about filing a complaint with OSC, visit them at osc.gov. Finally, the Merit Systems Protection Board, or MSPB, is an independent agency in the executive branch with the mission to protect principles established to promote an effective federal civil workforce. The board is empowered to hear and decide on employee appeals for corrective or disciplinary action when a federal agency allegedly committed a prohibited personnel practice. You can submit complaints of wrongdoing, to include reprisal complaints, through your local or service IG if you believe you have information regarding potential wrongdoing or a reprisal complaint. Notifying your local or command-level Inspector General or IG office first may result in the quickest resolution. To file your complaint locally, contact the IG office at your location or your command-level IG office. You can also submit your complaint directly to the DoD hotline, especially if you don't know the best place to file your complaint. The DoD hotline will route your complaint to the appropriate recipient when you file complaints. For a complete list of materials needed to file a whistleblower reprisal complaint or any other information on reprisal statutes, please visit dodig.mil or contact the WPC at wpc@dodig.mil. After filing your complaint through the DoD hotline, You will receive an automated response indicating it was successfully submitted. An investigator will evaluate your complaint and determine if the matter warrants further inquiry. As a reminder, no one is guaranteed an inquiry, and there are certain matters that do not fall under DoD OIG purview. Generally, the DoD OIG does not conduct an inquiry if you have not used the prescribed processes for military and civilian employees, such as boards for correction of military records, or another inquiry is being conducted into the matter. Certain complaints involving classified information, that is, confidential, secret, and top secret, and matters of urgent concern require extra care. There are procedures for transmitting and transporting classified information that minimize the risk of compromise while permitting the use of the most viable and cost-effective methods. For example, when submitting a complaint containing secret information to the DoD hotline, use the Secure Internet Protocol Router Network, or SIPRnet. The SIPRnet is a system of interconnected computer networks used by the DoD to transmit classified information. You can also mail classified information to the DoD hotline at the secret level and below, following the procedures in the DoD Manual 5200.01, Volume 3, DoD Information Security Program, Protection of Classified Information. For more specific instructions, contact the DoD hotline at 1-800-424-9098 or visit dodig.mil.
Now let's turn our focus to the Intelligence Community Whistleblower Protection Act, which provides a secure way to report to Congress certain allegations involving classified information. Any employee or contractor assigned to the Defense Intelligence Agency, the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, the National Reconnaissance Office, or the National Security Agency, or employees assigned to an element of the intelligence community can report a matter of urgent concern to the DoD Inspector General or to the Offices of Inspectors General of DIA, NGA, NRO, NSA, or the Intelligence Community IG. For more information on specific procedures and who can file a complaint under the ICWPA, contact the DoD hotline or the Whistleblower Protection Coordinator. Whistleblowers regularly expose fraud, waste, abuse, and misconduct, and the DoD OIG seeks to investigate their allegations fully, fairly, and efficiently. There are many examples of whistleblowers exposing misconduct, saving taxpayer money, and improving the efficiency and effectiveness of DoD operations. A complaint originally filed by a whistleblower alleging conspiracy of bribery and fraud by Glenn Defense Marine Asia and its chairman and owner, Leonard Glenn Francis, known as Fat Leonard, led to a joint investigation conducted by the DoD OIG, the Naval Criminal Investigative Service, and the Department of Justice. This was one of the largest and most complex public corruption criminal cases in DoD history, involving widespread ethical lapses throughout the Navy's 7th Fleet. In another example, an anonymous whistleblower complaint to the DoD hotline led to an investigation conducted by the Defense Criminal Investigative Service, DCIS, the Army Criminal Investigation Command, and the Small Business Administration OIG regarding 3 senior military officers who created a business, the CREC Group, which falsely claimed to be a small disadvantaged business and, as a result, improperly received federal contracts. One of the officers received a 60-month prison sentence and forfeited $1.2 million.
Finally, consider the movie War Dogs, which was based on a DCIS investigation involving U.S. contractors who were selling the U.S. government substandard, foreign manufactured ammunition repackaged to conceal that it was manufactured in China. The contractors used a non-US contractor to repackage the counterfeit ammunition. One scene in the movie showed a whistleblower calling from overseas and saying, "Hello, Pentagon, I want to report a crime." That call, in reality, was made to and answered by DoD OIG hotline staff, who referred it to DCIS for investigation. It resulted in the conviction and imprisonment of the suspects and the removal of the counterfeit ammunition from the U.S. material stockpile. Undoubtedly, whistleblowers are an invaluable resource in keeping DoD programs and operations efficient and effective. They are no different from you. Like them, you have an obligation to disclose wrongdoing and a right to be protected. If you have questions regarding your rights and whistleblower protections, please email the DoD OIG Whistleblower Protection Coordinator at wpc@dodig.mil or visit dodig.mil for more information on whistleblower protections, whistleblower reprisal investigations, and other resources.